What's up? Well, welcome.
Well,
What's up, listeners?
that
Hey,
wasn't awkward at all.
welcome to the Ballinesian Podcast here on the Polytickin Network. Shout out to Oh Hello Marcus, FM,
Oh yeah,
Polytickin Podcast. Yeah, definitely support the Polytickin Patreon. Subscribe to the YouTube page, follow the socials, rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and share. Anyone looking for content recommendations, we got it. Current events, sports, movies. Definitely check out what we have here on the Polytickin Network. Ballinesian Podcast. For Forrest, I'm Lance. Samoan's talking about sports. Chargers Raider fan going to be going over the NFL draft that just happened last week. Some of the biggest stories, some big trades, a huge fall. We're going to be talking about the Islanders, Pacific Islanders that got drafted this weekend, as well as the Chargers and the Raiders, and how our draft, our team, our vibes are going as another big checkpoint.
You were better.
You were better? Oh, we got to compare and contrast and like make it a competition.
I mean,
We can do that.
no.
But yeah, so definitely stay tuned to the end. We got a lot to go through, and it's going to be great. Let's start with your biggest story from the draft. When you think of the 2025 NFL draft, what story sticks out the most to you?
Oh man, it's gonna be the same as well, hopefully the same as everybody else, but the slide of Shedeur Sanders down
Oh
the
man,
draft boards.
to the
It's
fifth
crazy.
round.
I mean, and people, we can go all on about how people believe it was because of racism or just being blackballed because owners don't want people to get the wrong idea that they can do the things that him and his father were trying to do, like which is funny because it's already been done, where people have forced their hands or teams'
Where
hands,
they're going to get
yeah,
drafted.
where they're going to get drafted, whether or not to draft them because they won't play there. Um, if you guys don't know, Bo Jackson, when he was drafted, he was originally drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, decided to sit out a whole season, get
Oh,
redrafted in the following season by the Raiders, and ended up that's how it ended up playing for the Raiders. He his reason was because he felt that Tampa Bay flew him on purpose, didn't tell him that it would be at the time when you couldn't do certain things with guys who weren't yet slated to enter the draft. They flew him over for a visit to Tampa, and it ruined his eligibility. Putting
oh.
Yeah.
So he
So
was like mad at them.
so he was mad at them. They drafted him, and he was also a top pick in the Major League Baseball draft. So decided to go and play for the Kansas City Royals for that season first, and then wait and re-enter his name into the draft. So
Options
yeah,
must
we've
be
seen
nice.
that. Uh we've seen the less talented Manning
Oh man,
force someone else's hand to not draft him because he didn't want to go somewhere.
tried tried to force their hand, but the Chargers
Yeah,
had the number one overall pick and still
yeah.
drafted Eli Manning, and then traded him for Philip Rivers to the Giants.
So basically forces their
Sean Merriman, I think they got
hand.
Nate Kading.
Yeah,
Good
I
trade,
mean,
good trade.
right. So I mean, it's been done. It's not like it's nothing new, but a lot of people are saying that Shedeur was made an example of, or that he had, scouts really didn't rank him that high on their boards, or, but yeah, it's hard to deny that he was slated anywhere or projected to go anywhere from 1 to 6 and no later than that in the early projections. And
There was
all of
talk
it,
about him maybe slipping to the Steelers at 21.
right, maybe.
He did.
Uh, should have passed him. But 1 and 2, that he for a long time it was him and Cam Ward. Um,
Quarterbacks.
yeah, quarterbacks. They were supposed to go 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then just a few weeks before that, I don't know. And then I guess you can say it. People are gonna say like it was his interviews or like his
Mhm.
attitude. Bro, we've seen so much worse from guys coming into the league and they got drafted where they're supposed to, or so just, yeah, just a crazy slide.
Someone said Bronny James got drafted before Shedeur.
Oh my gosh, and that too. That's
uh, if you were a GM of a team, what is there? Would you not draft Shedeur Sanders, or would you have taken him somewhere in the second, third, fourth round or something?
uh man, honestly, and I've said it on the show before. Like if I was the Raiders, like I didn't see him or Cam Ward be that. I don't know if they're going to be that generational talent, but someone also I talked to one of my good friends, Jason Malo, was like, you have to take a chance on players like that because you never know. That's the game,
Right.
And if you're going to be great, you got to take those chances. So I don't know if I was drafting for the Raiders at 6 and he fell to 6. I don't know if I would have took him because Genty was what they needed or a receiver more after signing Gino. But if I was any GM behind them and I needed a quarterback, I definitely would have picked him before Jackson Dart, before Tyler Show, uh,
Shuck.
before Dylan Gabriel, before you know what I mean. Just it was wild to see some of those guys go first. Not to say that Jackson Dart doesn't deserve to go like in the first round or the end of the first round, but I definitely didn't think he was better than Shedeur Sanders. So yeah.
Speaking of Jackson Dart, Ole Miss, Shedeur Sanders got prank called. I think in
Oh
like the third
man.
round by somebody from Ole Miss, and we found out now who it is.
So the real story, like the actual story, that's
Oh,
being put out is that he didn't make the call, but he was responsible for getting the number, and he was part of orchestrating the prank. The call went out by his roommate, but he was in attendance. Still, though, he was the mastermind because he's probably the
that's
only
not
one.
him on the video.
He's not the one on the phone, but he's in the video with them.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so, but
The,
the
the
fact
thing
that
they
he
were
was,
tripping about was like they didn't think it was a prank call because they Shedeur Sanders only gave that was like a burner phone, right? A new phone
yeah,
for the draft,
yeah,
and they said they only gave that number out to NFL teams in a private email. It's
right,
like, hey, if you want to reach us, this is the phone number to call. Let us know when you're going to draft us. So Jeff Ulbrich's son, who was the interim head coach, Jeff Ulbrich, the former Hawaii linebacker, then the interim head coach for the New York Jets last year, now the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta
for Atlanta,
Falcons.
yeah.
They said his son, according to the Falcons, they were like, "Hey, so this kid saw, this thing. We're gonna reevaluate our security measures, protocols, all this yada yada." But it was just a kid that caught the number off of an iPad or something. They said the dad didn't know, but they made him apologize. He like wrote an
Yeah, no.
apology on Instagram.
Wrote the apology. He actually was able to call the Sanders family, called Shedeur first personally, called
Mm,
the family after, apologized. They took his apology, and um,
bro.
who knows what they were saying, like in the back, like in actual behind scenes. But Shedeur came out and was saying, it was a dumb mistake. He's a kid. Kids make dumb mistakes. It didn't like affect him much. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure at the moment it probably was shitty because he had been waiting and just all the drama behind it. But just watching him, man, shout out to his brother, Shiloh, because he took care of him
Yeah,
the whole time. Like he
yeah.
was just kept his spirits up, and and then they had one clip, and he was like, "Man, if they're doing you like this, how the hell are they gonna do me, man?" Yeah, I was like,
I don't even know how they gonna treat me if they doing
right,
this to you.
right. So
That kind of made like Shedeur laugh and crack up. That's
that
that good to have like a
that's what I'm saying.
brother or
Yeah,
somebody
his
like
older
that in
brother.
those situations.
Man, that's so invaluable. But shout out to him. But yeah, Shedeur came out and was saying that it wasn't that much of an issue for them. They were just, after it happened, they kind of brushed it off. But see, the thing is, I mean, he's getting called out for it. The kid, again, he is just a kid. But I also get annoyed at some of the posts that I see some of these reporters are like, by all accounts, he's a good kid, just made a dumb mistake. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
okay.
he hasn't gotten caught from all the dumb stuff he's
Right.
done before so far.
Exactly.
All right.
But this isn't the first time. There was a prank
Is
call
he
last year.
white?
Oh
That's
my
something they say.
oh man. It looked like Jeff Ulbrich met somebody in Hawaii and had a kid because he looks a little Asian. So
Bruh.
uh yeah,
Dumb
it's not the
mistake.
first time.
Wait, when's the last time you made a prank call?
Bro. before Star 69.
Before they could call me right back.
Right, before I could get caught. Hey, and we kind of grew up in that era where they didn't have Star 69 when we were doing
Yep.
stuff like that. So like, I mean, it was weird. And then you could still call girls, and when their dad answered the phone, you could hang up, and they didn't know it was you.
Yeah. Who's this on my phone tying up my line?
Right. Oh man.
Two other things on this Shedeur Sanders slide. One is that Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, supposedly, allegedly, made the call to hey, go and draft this kid.
Yeah.
I don't know what's that for, because the other thing, number two, is that the Cleveland Browns drafted a quarterback before they drafted Shedeur Sanders on day 3. Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel. So they took Dylan Gabriel, and then the next day they were told to take Shedeur Sanders. But I mean, 5th round pick for a quarterback that has, those marks about being possibly really good, that's going to be good value.
Sure.
It's just going to be so weird seeing them play together, 2 rookies, and then they got Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, who's hurt.
Sucks for them again. But they have Pickett, who
and they traded for Kenny Pickett in March.
Who, by the way, they declined his option today.
Yeah, you're not getting a 5th round option, dog. No, not like that. No. But that's so crazy. They're making such weird, strange, nonsensical decisions. It's like somebody else came in and made them change course, because when they showed the draft room for the Cleveland Browns, when they announced the pick, bro, Andrew Berry, the freaking general manager, he was like, his hands were clapping in his lap, but his face looked like he was upset. And I'm like, that's not somebody that thinks he just made like a crazy good value trade. That's someone's like, I hate working here. I hate being told what to do. I had a plan. I tried to draft a quarterback even so that we wouldn't have to take this quarterback, and you still got to take Shedeur Sanders because my boss said so.
Yeah. One of the funniest and worst tweets I saw was like, man, it's always someone that looks like you that's hating on you so hard. And it was that clip. I was like, damn.
Somebody that looks like you. All right. But hopefully freaking Shedeur gets a chance. I don't think he will. It's going to take a while.
Even more? No, I don't know. What sucks even more is that Dylan Gabriel is probably going to be I don't know if he's going to be a great starter in the league. I know he's going to be a great backup somewhere in the league, because the kid don't have no quit in him. He got hurt, like a serious injury, came back from that at UCF, was a great quarterback at Oklahoma, went to Oregon, was a great quarterback there, So what sucks is like he's caught up all in this, and people are just like, well, it sucks to hear things like, why the hell wouldn't you just draft Shedeur ahead of Dylan Gabriel? Like, bro, that sucks to hear. Like, also might light his fire a little bit more to be cool. But I think the last thing about that situation, I think Flacco is guaranteed to stay. He's the vet. He's been playing in that system. Mm-hmm. He knows the system, and it's Joe Flacco. My man brought like a season ago, he was like a starter for a few games and was like killing it. So I think he stays just because of all the experience, and I think they're gonna let the 2 rookies battle it out. I'm sorry, Pickett. I think you're out of a job, bro. You're gonna have to really impress in the off season right now to keep your job.
I think he's like the 4th best of the 5 quarterbacks there.
I think he's on his way out, and of course, we all know Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's making it back. So yeah, I think the 2 rookies they'll get their chance to be on the team at least. I think
Joe Flacco's going to run things, kind of show them the ropes, and then whoever emerges as the best quarterback by the end of the year maybe gets the head start for next year.
I think that's what it's going to be.
Crazy situation. Do you think? Sorry. Last one. Do you think this is Deion Sanders' fault?
Oh man, I think he's part of the problem. I think he added fuel to the fire. And then just hey, if we're gonna make it about race, there's old white dudes that sit at the top of these ownership groups or GM, and, they make these decisions, and they're not about to let some. They're not about to let a family like that tell them what to do, who they can draft, where he's going to let his son play. That's the last thing they want to hear. Um, so yeah, that added fuel to the fire. But I mean, just again, they don't want to be told what to do. And Shedeur came in already with like
Crazy.
he's confident, and a lot of people are gonna. I get it. It's borderline like narcissistic maybe, or just arrogant to some people. But if someone said like, "Oh man, like we don't want him," like he's coming in and he thinks like so highly of himself, it's like he's your quarterback. Do you not want him to think highly of himself? Do you not want him to have like the
He's
confidence?
a quarterback. Yeah.
That's what, yeah, I'm sure. And do you not want him to come in and be like, nah, yeah, I'm the dude. I'm about to come here and win. You know what I mean? Like, this is my job. Isn't that
Mhm.
what you want? So, I mean, I think it's a lot of things, but to answer your question, I do think he's not the main reason, but I do think he's part of the reason the slide happened. Um, you still have people talking about like, well, now you have to deal with whether or not Dion's or Prime's going to be able to just be a dad, or is he going to be want to be like on the staff? And then I was like, bro, the dude's at Colorado. Just he's happy for his kids. One of his kids just got signed to like to see the joy in Prime's face when Shiloh got signed. That's
Oh, yep, yep.
yeah, that was dope. He sat down and he just thanked God, happy for both his sons. So I hope it blows over. I hope whoever Shedeur gets his chance, whether it be with the Browns. I hope Dylan gets his chance to play somewhere. Another Poly kid from Hawaii, who's really good, by the way. I don't think he's better than Shedeur, but I do think he's pretty good. I hope he gets his chance to stay in the league, make his mark in the league. But yeah, I hope.
I wonder if he gets like first dibs over Shedeur in practice, like since he was the third
I
round pick
I
instead
I
of the.
I think for the first at least like he'll get like second team or third team reps, depending on like where Pickett gets his reps from. But
Get Pickett out of here, bro. Pickett need to be getting water.
man, you know what? I always had a problem with Pickett after he did that fake slide in college, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
bitch.
It's like, hey, see, Patrick Mahomes is gonna see that. He's gonna make it a whole thing. See what you started, Kenny? Damn it.
But yeah, I think just off of the draft, I think Dylan Gabriel is probably going to get the earlier reps, and they'll see from there. Still a whole off season to go, so a lot of things can happen during this off season. So
All right. Another big story from the NFL draft was the Jacksonville Jaguars moving up from the number 5 pick, trading with the Cleveland Browns up to number 2. They gave them, I think, an extra second round and a first rounder next year,
next year,
and then flip picks. I think there was like a fourth round swap for them, but
yeah,
yeah, they gave up a second round and a first round next year to move up 3 selections. But what they did after Cam Ward went number 1 is the Jacksonville Jaguars took
the best player in the
Shadeur's
draft,
teammate. Yeah, yeah.
best
Wide
talent in the
receiver,
draft.
cornerback, Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy winner, the Shohei Ohtani of
Right
the
of the
NFL now.
NFL, yeah,
And something that the GM, I think, is James Gladstone, who's 34, one of the youngest looking people in the NFL, one of the
damn
youngest
boy,
general managers.
hurts my
Uh,
feelings.
he came from the Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams have had a penchant for trading away the draft picks for veteran players, right? Instead of like building up and grabbing guys in the first round, they spent their first round picks and traded them away a lot to get guys to come in there. Now Gladstone is doing the same thing in Jacksonville, right? He's like, I don't care about next year's pick. We got a chance to draft somebody that not only changes this team, not only changes the city, but has a chance to change the entire sport. And I was, bro, I got goosebumps listening to it. This is a really well written speech. And even Travis Hunter in his introduction press conference, he's like, oh man, thank you. And you gotta freaking one, show the player that they're valuable, that you value them.
That they're wanted,
Two,
yeah,
explain to the fans this was not a bad deal. You know, there was a reason we gave up resources to go and get this specific guy, and just the way he explained it, being able to play both wide receiver and cornerback, being able to like use skills from both sides on the other side of the ball.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, setting up route trees versus wide receivers, knowing where the cornerbacks are kind of going, knowing where the cornerback, uh, knowing like what the the cornerback does, and how that means the rest of the defense is going to act. It's like, oh, this guy's shallow, so there's going to be safety up here, so there's a shot in the middle of those two, or this guy's bailing off, safety's going to rotate. He just knows certain things from playing both positions. So that was dope. And that's another thing about the draft. We still got months to go
oh
before
for sure.
we get football. But it is this like chance to look at everything and see exactly what all this data, all this information, all these picks,
Right.
what team decided to let some guy slide, right? No one wanted Shedeur. What guys meant a lot to certain people, if it was a certain situation or if it was the whole league thinking somebody was good. That's what, busting out a smokescreen season in March and April and finally getting the actual facts, the truth about how these people feel about the players, and putting their money where their mouth is, basically, and seeing the results of the NFL draft. Now we figure out exactly how these players are going to meld in with the team as camp opens up, training camp, and then preseason games versus other NFL teams, and then regular season opening up on a Thursday in September. Woof! We
Yeah,
are
I mean,
moving right along.
yeah, I mean, and then just one to add, I was just thinking about is uh, how they downplayed Cam Ward being picked first. Like we've never seen the number one pick like not be as celebrated. ESPN didn't show his after pick his
Phone
after
call or
or
his interview?
his interview. They didn't even show that.
What the heck?
Yeah, they didn't show that, and then like they kind of just Shedeur, that's your fault. They kind of just like glazed over it during his like the whole process for him. Like there wasn't much talk about it. Like even after he got drafted. Like and it was sucks because right after him it was the trade and Travis Hunter got drafted. So like the attention to that just because of the trade alone with the Jags moving up and giving up what they gave up, that attention went to that, and then it just and they just never. I just thought he didn't get the attention that he deserved coming from a school incarnate world. I mean, even if we had just two listeners, I'm pretty sure the two listeners that we have don't know where Incarnate World is as a school.
Incarnate Word? Is that a
Yeah,
basketball school?
you know
I feel like I've heard it in a
what?
basketball
The first
tournament.
time I heard them was
Maybe a
football,
March Madness. Oh, okay.
but they're super small school. Um, he was there first. Uh, again, a lot of people make a deal about it, but I don't think it's much of a deal if you're gonna work. He was a no star athlete coming out of high school. Um, killed that Incarnate Word. Went to Washington State, killed it there. Could have came out last year, was still valued pretty high. Probably not the first pick in the draft, no, not at all, but high, probably like late first round. Decided to transfer again to Miami to raise his stock, and here we are. That's a great story.
This
So,
is something about the transfer portal that one of the pods, the Ringer NFL Draft Show,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Danny Heifetz was talking about the transfer portal and how two sides of it
right,
have come
right,
over in the last week.
yeah,
There's the Nico side, the Nico Iamaleava side, which is like, oh, the transfer portal is ruining everything. These guys want money, and if they don't, they're threatening to leave.
right.
But you have the other side of Cam Ward's story, where he transferred,
So
three
like a
times, right,
better situation, yeah.
to a better situation. He does not. He does not become the number one overall pick if he stayed at like his first school, or even if he
No,
stayed at
he doesn't
Washington
even get
State, probably
looked
not.
at. Yeah, he doesn't get looked at the same. Definitely.
So for him to go to Miami to use the transfer portal, to up his stats, to go from a 0-star recruit with only one Division I offer, to the number one overall pick. That's because of the transfer portal. That's because of him, right? And his situation, and also because it's a weak quarterback class this year. So, but
still, he at the beginning of the season, he was already because he was so highly touted last year for not entering the draft, he was still talked about going first beginning of the year. And then to translate over to that, Arch Manning is really considering not coming out after this year. Now, I know for a whole, we're not even close to the season. We don't even know what kind of season he's going to have. But he's come out and said, him and his camp, just watching the way Cam Ward was able to up his stock and just get better. And, they're really considering, if whatever happens next year, they might just stay one more season in college. So, yeah, great story. Great story.
All right, let's talk about the reason you're all here, to find out which the Islanders got drafted and where. We can run through the list and kind of talk about each guy's situation, like how quickly he's going to be able to make an impact, kind of what the depth chart around him kind of looks like.
And you know what? I have to hate the Chiefs a little less now too. That sucks.
I know. That's Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala's nephew.
Yeah, not too many people know about Josh Simmons. And then all his pictures though, if you see pictures when he's younger, high school, college, whatever, and he's with his parents, you can tell his mom is dead on and she's always wearing polo tassis in a lot of the pictures.
Nice.
So, yeah.
But his dad, Josh Simon's dad, Nelson, played in the MLB for 3 seasons, and then his uncle was that Steelers fullback with the hyphen. But first, the first Islander that got drafted in the 2025 NFL draft with the number 8 overall pick, with the 8th overall pick, Kobe, Tetsuya McMillan, wide receiver from Arizona. What I thought this was earlier than I thought he was going to go, but I'm really glad that he was able to get picked so early.
It's a bad pick. No, I'm just kidding.
But his quarterback is a short quarterback, right? That's what we know. Bryce Young, who had a terrible first year, but then had a good second half of his second year, is the quarterback. Bro, They met for the first time, and Tetsuya was like, "You think I look better than you?" I was like, "Oh, don't touch your quarterback like that." And Bryce got mad. He was I don't know about all that, but so big wide receiver, smooth, great hands, can get downfield. I joked immediately, of course they need a super tall number 1 wide receiver. They've got the guy ever under center in Bryce Young. They've also got Xavier Legette. I think Jay Coker is one. Other wide receivers, but not much there. I think Tetsuya goes straight up to the number 1 receiving option.
Do they still have Thielen? Is he still there for another year?
I think Thielen is. I think this is Thielen's last year.
Okay.
And the Jag. Who am I thinking about? The Panthers also signed former Raider wide receiver Hunter Renfrow yesterday.
Oh, I saw that. Good for him.
Yeah.
One of those guys that you'd like to see back in the league.
Yeah, he took the year off last year, and now he's back. I also saw a Renfrow reel, and it was just Hunter Renfrow routes for a minute and 15 seconds. I was like,
man,
bro, I sat there and watched the whole damn thing. Yo, what happened to this guy? Why couldn't he be a successful wide receiver?
It's another thing. When if it's to go back to the Shedeur thing, when that one person wants to put it in the rest of the owner's heads or anything like that, there's something wrong with the kid. A lot of people are just gonna be I guess there's something wrong with the kid, and you know what I mean. No one give a chance. That's crazy. Because you as a Chargers fan, you used to watch it because the Chargers linebackers and safety you come out there socks trying to guard that fool 20 yards in. He has the craziest in and out routes ever. Man, guys are just whoa, wait a minute. He was just over there, and now he's catching a touchdown in the middle of the field. So, yeah. But hey, they got Tetsuya. A lot of people thought he was gonna slide all the way into the late 20s, maybe. you, I know Lance was hoping not because he wanted him to slide, but he
You're
wanted
right, just to get to the Chargers, right? Just to
just
have
in
a good
case slide
situation.
to the Chargers, just in case you think Lance is hating. He's not.
It's
He
the
just
closest NFL team to Hawaii. Like,
when
come on.
when he got drafted early and not to the Chargers, I was hating on the Chargers because I really wanted to tweet out stuff like ha ha ha. But no, I think he's gonna be a great fit there. He's definitely gonna get his chance to be number one right away. His skill set is something that they're sorely lacking in Carolina right now.
Yeah.
That he's got the speed. He's like as a receiver, it's kind of like the whole package for him. He can go up and get the ball. If he's against a smaller corner, he can body that corner. Again, for a guy who's about 6'3", 215, you know what I mean? 4.5 40, that's still fast in that body. That's fast up the field. He can go in, he can go out, he can play slot if you need to, but him and Leggett should complement each other because Leggett's super fast too, but he's super strong. Like Leggett is
Yeah.
strong. So they got those guys. I think it's gonna be great for him out there. Love to see it. Love to see him walk across the stage. His intro song was a song by a band from Hawaii. Then he gets to go over there and put a lay on the commissioner. Shout out to Godell, man. I know he gets a lot of flack because every time he comes on stage, every year it's boo. So
Yo, he's starting to play it up though. He's starting
no,
to be like, that's all you can do. Come on, guys. Don't hate on me. I'm a multi-millionaire.
and exactly now that he's right, we're talking about Godell. Shout out to him for staying and waiting for the what round was it?
Oh yeah.
The
Was
Green
he
Bay
like the
Packers.
third round or the third day?
It might have been like the third day. I wasn't the third round for sure.
There
It was
was
the
there
Green.
was someone in the green room that stayed there
Yeah,
for like 3 rounds at least. To be honest with
and
you.
got drafted by Green Bay. So that's great because Green Bay fans got
Oh,
to see.
local. Yeah,
He
yeah.
was in Green Bay. He got drafted by Green Bay, but when he came out, like Godell he stayed because of that reason, and then like the embrace that they had on stage was cool. Like Godell actually cares about these guys. So, but yeah, back to what do the white people call him? Back to Tet.
Chet.
And then to see him when he went over to they flew him over to Carolina
Mhm.
and get to meet Canales. And then Canales was like, "Hey, Carson style," and laid him back. That was
Yeah, had like the shell.
okay,
That was dope.
okay, yeah. So
He
that's
knows
dope.
how it works.
Yeah, and I think for the first pick, highest pick of a skilled position poly player. I don't know if there's any other.
Ever, huh?
Yeah, I don't know
That's
if there's
crazy.
another skill position poly player to get drafted higher than 8. So
Yeah, if you know another wide receiver or running back or quarterback,
yeah,
well, I guess not quarterback. That'd be 2 and 6.
right. Okay,
Marcus? Did Marcus get drafted? Tuya
Marcus.
Soko?
He did, but he got drafted in the later rounds by
Right,
the
okay.
Raiders. Yeah.
Marcus Mariota. Yeah, there you go. 2.
There you go. Yeah. So two. I mean,
So
quarterbacks at least, but
yeah,
like Marcus.
quarterbacks though, right?
Yeah. Of course they're gonna go. I mean,
So any Islander wide receivers, Islander running backs,
yeah.
Islander DBs. Do we have those? I'm sure we do. Yeah, Tetairoa McMillan, 8th overall to the
We do
Carolina
have those,
Panthers.
but they turn into linebackers once they get into the league.
With the 32nd pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs, who traded back one spot. The Eagles traded up to take Jod Campbell, linebacker. Georgia? Where's he? Alabama?
Yeah.
Jod Campbell. All right. And so the Chiefs traded back to 32, which is usually the Super Bowl winner spot. And the Chiefs have drafted at 32, 31 the last freaking 5-10 years. They get offensive tackle Josh Simmons, 6'5", 317 pounds, Ohio State, 3rd ranked offensive tackle, 24th ranked player. They're at 32. The Chiefs, I mean, they traded away Joe Tooney to the Bears this offseason.
They needed it.
And they didn't have any tackles last year. They actually played Joe Tooney at tackle, who's, all-pro guard. And also they drafted, I think it was the 2nd round last year, Kingsley Suamataia, who
was injured.
couldn't stay on the field and then got injured. So having Simons here who would have been a lot better if he didn't suffer a torn patella tendon in October.
Yep.
Uh, they love it, and he's going to be able to play offensive tackle, and it's going to suck for division rivals.
Yeah, because I mean he gets paired with Kingsley, so whew, that's gonna be nice to see. I mean, not in a Chiefs uniform, but
I know, right?
but yeah, it's gonna be great to see those guys play together. I honestly thought Jonas Inaya was gonna get drafted earlier than Simons, but um man, the Chiefs, yeah, they're getting a really, really great tackle. That kid just one, he's big, he's super athletic. He's gonna push a lot of people around. So, hate to say it, but we might have to deal with Mahomes like an extra 2 seasons because he probably won't be
Yeah,
as
save
dirty.
his life.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
probably won't be as dirty because we saw uh how horrible their tackles were last year. Just in the division games, the Raiders, the Chargers, they got to him a lot. The Broncos were able to get to him, and then we saw in the Super Bowl, like you know what I mean, just havoc. That was at the left tackle. They tried to plug it as much as they could, and they couldn't. So I think they get immediate relief. Super great value at where they got him at because had he not gotten injured during the season, I think he goes in like the first 15 picks. That's how good he was
wow.
before he got injured. So yeah, that's great to see. Love it.
Into the second round, let's see, who do we got? Offensive guard Jonah Savainaya, and
So
from the University of Arizona.
University of Arizona, but the kid is he's straight he right off the rock. He played AYFS in American Samoa, moved up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he moved up to play in Hawaii at I think he went to St. Louis. Um so he gets to go and block for probably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play at the university, the high school, the St. Louis High School
What
Crusaders.
is Crusaders? I was going to ask what the mascot is for St. Louis.
Yeah, Catholic school. So a lot of you'll hear that from a lot of Catholic schools.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, I mean, another kid who's super athletic at his size. He's like 6'5", 330. We saw him run a sub 5 40. It was like a 4.9 something.
Yeah, nice.
That's wild. Imagine somebody uh and I'm not saying that he is a gorilla, but that's like, they had that question, 50 men versus a gorilla or 100, whatever it is. Uh,
Oh, we're going to talk about that. Yep.
if we're on the field, imagine that guy chasing you. So, you're just trying to block. There's no way. Yeah. So super athletic. Another great kid, Arizona. He was also like, if had he come out, we were talking about him coming out last year. I don't know if he could have, because just like a sophomore, but he was talked about last year in college. Really good. He can play tackle, but I think, like you said, he's more viewed as a guard right now, going into the league. And Tua's going to need all the protection he can, so he doesn't have to wear the juggernaut helmet that people
Yes.
have AI'd him into
I'm the
on social,
juggernaut. Oos.
which is cool. Him and he won't have too bad of a transition to get over there. He'll be able to talk with Tua. Tua's from Hawaii. He's from Hawaii. They both went to St. Louis. So he'll have like a family environment. Hopefully, when he gets out there with Tua, hopefully Tua takes that role and takes him under his wing, not just on the field but off the field, and keeps him safe out there.
Yeah,
That's
for
pretty
real.
dope. That's a pretty good situation for him. So, and he's got a really cool coach. So that's pretty dope.
Let's see. Yeah. So Jonah went 37th to the Dolphins. And then, so that's 5 picks after Simmons. And then about 8 picks later, edge rusher JT Tuimoloau from Ohio State
Oh
uh,
yeah, hell yeah.
heads over to the Indianapolis Colts at number 45. The Colts just took Laiatu Latu last
Last
year.
year.
They
Yep.
got
That's the
DeForest
first round
Buckner.
pick. Yep.
So it's going to be a really good opportunity for him. But there are some names there, so it feels like he might not get like immediately, thrown into first string reps or anything. He's got to kind of work his way up.
Uh, yeah, he'll kind of have to work his way up, but talent wise, he's worthy of a starting. And I think not that he hasn't been doing anything like bad, but He hasn't been doing anything great, and he hasn't worked up to the level that they thought he was with. Quiddy Pay, who's with the who they used like a high draft pick on a few years ago in Indianapolis. He's not giving the production that they really thought he was going to give them. So JT's coming in. JT's going to have the opportunity to at least steal some time, some reps from him. Um, Latu should be their number one edge rusher. He's super good. Uh, so that I with Buckner there, man, I think it's a great fit for JT. There was a clip somewhere where they were talking about how unathletic he was, which is funny because as they're talking about that, the clip they're showing is where he gets the sack, the guy fumbles it, and all in the same play, the sack, the fumble recovery, touchdown. And I was like, how are you saying he's not athletic with that clip in the background playing? That's the same game he had like, I think he had 4 sacks, an
Oh,
interception, 4 sacks and interception. I
that's
gotta
right.
look up the game, but yeah, 4 sacks.
The sack, fumble recovery, fumble return for touchdown
Yeah.
is one of the most difficult Madden achievements I've never gotten. It's so rare. But this guy's doing it in real life over here, and they're like, I don't
Yeah,
know, does he have the chops? Yeah, look at him, Mel. look at him go.
man, and I
Shout out to
didn't
him.
know. Shout out to him. His his father right now, Ponce. Man, I went to marriage with him, and I was just talking to like his cousins, and because they were like shouting out JT, and I was like, oh, you guys know JT? You guys are family? Like, oh, that's Ponce's stepson. I was like, why? That's dope. Ponce Polytickin, congratulations to you and your wife, man. Uh, Great achievement, you know what I mean, for JT, for you guys. Uh just I mean, just to be considered, like when he was honestly like considered to go like early first round, like the beginning of the season, but I guess they expected a lot more fumble recovery touchdowns, I guess, and he didn't get too many this year, so he slipped a little. But he also works out with a friend of the show, Frankie Louvu. They work out
Nice.
together in the off season. Um, man, he's good.
Actually,
I think he's a steal. What what is your actually about?
uh, shout out to JT and the Colts.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of Frankie Luvu, the next guy that we're talking about is a fifth round linebacker taken by the Jets.
Yep. Yep.
uh, so yeah, we're gonna see Francisco Mauigoa maybe follow the same kind of path that Frankie did, becoming like well, I mean, as a fifth round pick, you're probably not, high up on the depth chart. You might have to work your way up like Frankie did, special teams,
Special
certain
teams.
situations,
Yep.
spelling like the starters and stuff. Um, yeah, so gonna be able to see Francisco Mauigoa, 6'2", 233 pounds from Miami, or played at Miami with his brother. Well, he's been really good. He plays off the line, slips blocks, and it seems like a hunter kind of linebacker, like a predator
Definitely.
type. So
I mean, his
he's
number
got
one.
opportunities.
He got a highlight from when he was at Washington State. Um, pick
Oh
six.
yeah,
Yeah. So he was really good at Washington State. When
remember
his
that pick six?
Yeah, when his brother Francis decided to sign with Miami out of high school because he played at IMG.
Mhm.
Came out of high school as depending on who you ask, the number one or the number two tackle in America. Signed with Miami, and Francisco decided to move out there and be with his brother at Miami. Had a really good career, actually. Super athletic, and I'm not going to do Frankie any injustice by saying that he has the same work ethic as Frankie, because Frankie's work ethic is unmatched. That guy goes to work every offseason. I mean, he has his fun definitely when he has a little bit of time on his hands, and now that he has his son, he gets to hang out with his partner and his son, and they do their offseason stuff. But if you just know Frankie, you know that he's working somewhere. Like just trying to get better. And it's been like that ever since he's gotten to the league, has started from his days with the Jets. And so I know Francisco, watching him, um, another kid straight from the Rock, a product of the American Samoa football program, starting from AYFS to he played at Tafuno for a little bit before they all moved out to IMG instead of playing at IMG. So man, that's good to see. I'm always going to be so proud of it and throw it in people's faces like, ha, yeah, small island, a little dot on the map that you look at. These kids are from there, so that's super cool, man. Just
Oh
seeing
yeah.
that, and he works hard, man. All those brothers, from their oldest brother Frank, who was a quarterback at Tafuna, played at a smaller school in Chicago. He's also a great volleyball player. They had another brother who was an offensive tackle, started at Washington State for a while. I think he's a sheriff out here now in Washington. Um, he went through all the pre-draft stuff too. I think he was in a couple mini camps. And now it's Francisco's turn. Francisco gets to go to New York and make his mark. And then we got Francis, who's eligible next year to come out and is one of the top tackles in the country. So, man, blessing
It's
for that family.
his brother's name is Francis,
Yeah,
and his name is Francisco.
yeah.
That's too close. I
Well,
wonder
so
what they call themselves.
they call Francis and they call Francisco Cisco.
Cisco,
Yeah,
Francis and Cisco. Okay, got it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, let's talk about our teams for a little bit. We got about 15 minutes here. Oh, the last two, actually, sorry, the last two guys' names that I have here, both from UCLA, both in the 7th round, defensive tackle Jay Toia, and then tight end Moliki Mataval. To the Saints, and then Toya went to. He's going to play defensive tackle for the freaking Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, see, I love to see our guys spread out amongst teams in the league.
Yeah,
Like, and there's so many of the poly kids playing in the league. Like, right, man, like you can't deny the talent. Like, we heard CD Lamb talk about Samoans taking over in one of his interviews in the car interview. So that was cool to see. Jay was actually pretty highly touted coming out of high school too. You know,
mm-hmm.
it was either between SC and UCLA when he signed, and he decided to go to, according to you and many other fans, he decided to go to the wrong school in LA.
UCLA.
But yeah, he was pretty good there. What's about pretty good. He's tight end. The system, there's so many system changes over there, so it's kind of hard for him to like show out like catching the ball and stuff like that. But it's super skilled. Uh, Especially if you're drafted, even in the late rounds, like for like positions like that, if you get drafted, it's obviously someone has been scouting you and they know about you. It's not like they're over there throwing darts at a board like, let's draft that guy. So super cool to see, man, and I can't wait to watch them both this season.
We have also our teams, the Chargers and the Raiders. We didn't pick any of these Islander players. Come on, what's going on?
Man, I was hoping too. I was like, man, just pick one,
Just one of them.
just one of them, you know. But
Next year. How do you feel about the draft? Do you feel good? Was it good?
I do.
Yeah,
They
I
got
liked
the one.
ours. Kind of.
You guys had a pretty. You guys drafted. I think both
I did
teams.
not agree. I did not agree with where they took certain guys. I thought
Oh,
positionally
yeah, I'm sure.
should have
But
focused on defense, but
uh,
this draft for the Chargers was way different from their last one. Like, I mean, I guess you do. Last year they took Joe Alt with their first pick and then traded up to the top of the 2nd round for Ladd McConkey. And those are weapons for Justin Herbert. But this one felt like it was supposed to be defense, but they kept getting weapons for Herbert. Running back Omarion Hampton, 2nd round pick. They took Trey Harris, a wide receiver. They took another wide receiver, another tight end, offensive lineman. Uh, so it's kind of weird seeing that because we were talking about this in the chat about like, well, who the Chargers are going to take at 22? Are they going to try to take somebody that can help Herbert? And I was thinking, you just paid this guy a lot of money to be super talented, to like be the rising tide that lifts all boats, that makes his regular or late drafted wide receivers and tight ends really good. But they flipped it. They went the other way. instead of like stacking up on defense for a defense that led the league in fewest points last year, they decided to try to like find offensive playmakers that are gonna like create easy buttons for Justin Herbert. So it's like I totally thought they were going to go in a different direction. So seeing them go running back, wide receiver, 1 and 2, which also the Raiders did, running back and wide receiver, first and second
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
It wasn't like our biggest hole is that our defense does not show up when it matters. But then when you talk about like the reason they got knocked out of the playoff game versus Houston in the first round last year was because the only person catching balls was Lad McConkey, who was like 9 for 170 touchdown, something like that. Quinn Johnson, no show. So yeah, I'm happy that they're investing alongside Justin Herbert, but it didn't feel
You
like,
sure? Doesn't
huh?
seem like it. I said, you sure? It doesn't seem like it.
I thought this was gonna be like, oh, we need the defense, right? Because it's an offensive league. You need to shut this down, and you have a guy that's good. Find some other wide receivers, running backs late that work. A Jalen Guyton, a Josh Palmer, freaking somebody like that. Instead of having to spend a first round pick on a running back, I didn't agree with that. So I was kind of bummed about that.
I feel it, but yeah, look, like you just said, it's an offensive league, and I know you can find like later rounds. You can find like I mean, you probably could have picked up like I said, Trayvon Henderson or Judkins. If the Browns didn't pick him, those guys they came off the board. But a lot of teams viewed Omari and Hampton as like not too far off from Genty. So it's if you think about it, you're kind of getting like another generational talent. He is really good. He's a really good running back. He can catch out the backfield. Hard to bring down. He was super good at UNC. A lot of people think Joe Mixon when they watch him play, but when I watched a lot of his film and some of the games, um, I he really looks like Saquon Barkley out there. He's super hard to bring down, and has that breakaway speed. So again, you called it. It's an offensive league, and I think they just wanted to be able to be on par with everybody else. Everybody else seems to be trying to outscore everybody. So they did that. Trey Harris too is actually, I think that's a really good value pick it, like where you guys got him because
In
he
the
could have,
second round,
yeah, he could have
back in the
gone
second.
first. He could
Oh
have,
damn!
yeah, he could have gone first in the first round. There were teams that had him graded that high. Just yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but no, they might have a plan of a lot of defensive guys you can probably pick up in free agency, and they might not be done.
Mhm.
So I'm
the
glad you
uh
get it.
the Steelers stole
Really stoked.
Derek Harmon with the
Yeah,
21st pick. They took a
yeah,
defensive tackle out of Oregon who is like ranked the second best defensive tackle after top 5 pick Mason Graham. Uh, I think if the Steelers don't take him at 21 and they took Shedeur Sanders or any other position, I think Derek Harmon would have been a Los Angeles Charger. But because he went the pick right before them, like defensive tackle seemed like it needed to be the biggest position in need for the Chargers.
right.
And I think if Harmon would have slipped one more pick, the Chargers would have taken him
Mm.
instead of Hampton, the running back. But just the way it played out, they were like, okay, there's no other defensive tackles now that Harmon's gone. We're on the clock right now. Thinking about trading back possibly, but instead they just take a really good offensive weapon. I don't know. Drafting a first round running back for the Chargers. I mean, a top 5 running back, top 5 overall pick like LaDainian Tomlinson, cool. Ryan Matthews, Melvin Gordon hadn't really worked out as much. So, uh, yeah, I kind of felt so about this draft.
I feel it.
The
I feel it.
Raiders, though, starting at number 6, taking Boise State running back Ashton Genty. That off the top, I was like, oh, fireworks. And it makes sense
It
with
does.
everybody in that room. Pete Carroll wants to run Chip Kelly. He's got that
Yeah,
spread, that zone offense. And you got somebody that freaking not only did he lead the league, the entire college football in rushing yards, Uh, he had so many yards after contact. Like someone tries to tackle him, he slips out of it, he
Yeah,
keeps going, or someone
yeah.
like bumps him. Uh, he had like over 1,000 yards of rushing yards
Contact after
after
contact.
contact.
Yeah.
He had the second most yards in college football, like total, just from after contact. That's so you got a guy that like is a workhorse and is gonna get volume, right? Pete Carroll wants to run, Chip Kelly wants to run. Not only that, he's a freaking bowling ball. He's gonna be able to knock people over. Um, so like picking Ashton Genty with their first pick of this new era, what do you think that says about like the future? Like, what did they're going to be a running team? It's going to be like gritty, or is it like the pizzazz and specialness of Genty? What does that pick mean for the Raiders?
It just means that they're going in a different direction than they used to. Like offensively, I think they're going to be a little bit more balanced. But now they have a guy who, if the passing game isn't working, you can really rely on him to take over. Um, it also just means that they're drafting for who they have as their coach. They're really drafting like It to me, it looks like Pete Carroll and Spytek are definitely on the same page, and that hasn't always been the case
Nice.
with Raiders head coaches and GMs.
Mm-hmm.
So it just looks like they're both in agreement on what they're doing and building together, which is great. They're building for team needs.
I
Genti
hate
was a
it.
no. I mean, there was a lot of like talk about going in another direction with Genti, and I mean, there were guys that if you went with wouldn't be bad. Like if, they took McMillan because the title is probably the number one wide receiver in a lot of draft rooms, but for us, he was the number one wide receiver, and that would have been a big pick because they do need a number one wide receiver. They could have gone offensive tackle because they're in contract talks with their number one left tackle, Colton Miller, so they could get gone with the kid from LSU or the second tackle that was taken. I mean, they could have went with Simons. Honestly, wouldn't be a bad pick. I know people would have thought they reached, but Genti was just made so much sense because they had such a horrible run game last year. They get the quarterback they need. They're plugging the offensive line.
Yep.
They signed Capo. I mean, now that's not like a flashy signing, but he's a guy who's going to come in and be able to at least compete. And then in the rest of
Yeah,
the draft,
start for you guys. Yeah, Alex Kappa guard.
I think he will start. Dylan Parham, he's been.
He's like your first guys. You guys is one of your first free agent signings.
Yep, yep. Um, so they're making the moves. It definitely just it looks like a lot of the moves are just a lot more calculated and thought like put some thought process into to the guys they're picking and they're just picking the right guys for the team. That's what that pick with Genti means. He just I think he's gonna come. A lot of the top two, what was his size? Because what is he like 5'8"? I think they were saying. Uh, but you can't deny his like man. I don't know. You can't deny the film, and it's not like he was playing against scrubs wherever he was at. Like just it's not like he was playing against like high school kids doing all
That's
this
kind
stuff.
of what people are saying, right? Because Boise State is in the Mountain West Conference.
Right,
The
right.
level of talent in the Mountain West compared to the SEC, Big Ten,
Nah,
whatever,
the,
it's
the guys.
supposedly less, right? So they're
Right.
like, oh, of course this guy is bouncing off all these linebackers. They're not going to play in the NFL. Once he gets to the NFL, they're really going to show him. Ashton Jitsi 5'9", 211. The first running back ranked by ESPN, third overall player in the entire draft. Jesus.
Super talented, super talented. Yeah. That's. I mean, for the draft, that's pretty big. But like the rest of the draft was cool. Like they had a lot of picks. They plugged holes that they needed to. Their second pick was Besh, the wide receiver out of TCU who played at LSU before. Him along with the D tackle that you mentioned. What was his name? Sorry. That Pittsburgh drafted.
Derek Harmon.
Derek Harmon. Those two stories are probably going to turn into a movie somewhere. There's going to be some
Oh,
folks
yep.
going to want to exploit both of those kids about their stories. Harmon lost his mom right after he got drafted. Went to the hospital, talked to his mom, who was in there for a stroke, and She ended up passing away. Besh lost his brother last year at the or this year, sorry. Uh,
Yeah. The
at the
terror attack outside New
yeah,
Orleans.
in New Orleans, lost his brother there. So great stories, but Besh, he's another not flashy pick, and they traded back like twice in the second round and ended up drafting him. Big body receiver. You know,
Damn.
he's not going to blow by you, but I don't think he had a drop in the last 2 seasons or something like that. Just
Nice.
his drop percentage is wild. Like,
You
big
you
guy,
guys drafted 11 players.
and all of them fill a need. So Besh is cool. Some of the guys that I like are the cornerback Darian Porter out of Iowa State. Uh,
Third round pick.
6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds, runs a 4.3 40 for a guy that you know, he's the exact kind
Having
of
to catch up to all those Chargers receivers.
man.
Hey, stop!
I mean, they have to catch the ball first, but he's a prototypical Pete Carroll cornerback.
PB.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
6'3", good.
could
Yeah.
be the second coming of Richard Sherman. Not too much weight on your shoulders, my guy. I'm just saying.
Richard
Uh,
Sherman was a 5th rounder.
Defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, JJ Bekees, 6'2",
Okay.
325 pounds, plays both sides of the ball. Uh, Super athletic defensive tackle, but has 7 touchdowns playing fullback this season. 7 touchdowns playing fullback this season. And hey, Chip Kelly knew what he was doing when they dropped it in. It wasn't just for the defense. I'm sure Chip Kelly has these plays going through his head because they got two quarterbacks, one from Montana State, who they're going to turn into either wide receiver, running back, but who still has a skill set as a quarterback. The running quarterback from North Dakota State, who won a championship in that round, they drafted him, so that's crazy. Another wide receiver though, Dante Thornton out of so sad that they had to go.
Tennessee.
Shut
Oh,
up.
yeah.
No, but Dante Thornton, 6'5", 215. Guess how fast he is? 4.3 40.
4'3".
Second,
Damn.
second fastest 40 among wide receivers this year in
Okay.
the draft.
You
He's
guys doubled back on a lot of picks. Like you went offense, first and second, and then you went
yeah.
offensive tackle with the third round comp picks. You had 2
So
there.
the second offensive tackle out of William and Mary,
Mm-hmm.
he's able to play both inside and out. So
Charles
he's
Grant,
yeah,
6'5",
Charles Grant
311. Ugh.
is able to play both inside and out. And that's why they got him because I mean he could end up starting, but they like his versatility playing all over the line. So that's going to be cool. They drafted another D tackle too, who's great.
No, Tonka
No,
Hemingway.
yeah,
That's the
Tonka
thing. You guys went
out of South Carolina.
offensive tackle, back to back, defensive
Yeah,
tackle, back to back, and then FCS quarterback, back to back in the 6th round.
right. Right. I mean, it's crazy, and they even have one undrafted. We haven't even talked about undrafted free agents, and
Oh
just
yeah!
one
Shout
more.
out DJ Uyangalele. Welcome to
Hey,
the Chargers. Welcome back home to
sucks,
LA.
sucks that you have to go over there, but I'm glad, happy for you.
happy, happy,
Uh,
happy.
yeah, one undrafted free agent that I'm going to just mention on for the Raiders is Trevor Maai, D tackle out of Baylor, 6'5", 290 pounds, played inside out
Jeez.
at Baylor because their system. So he was a big end during their four sets. He played end on those sets, but also just a big defensive tackle, super athletic, out of uh, out of Vegas actually. He's from Hawaii, transferred over to Bishop Gorman, played there, and then originally signed with Oregon, and then transferred to Baylor. So
All
uh,
right.
I know we were just talking about how we didn't draft any no poly boys for our teams, but we do have Trevor Maai.
We did
Uh,
sign him after. We
and
didn't
then
want to
yeah,
commit the
right.
resources to those people, but
So Trevor,
we'll take them for free.
they still get guaranteed money. I think if as long as they're in training camp, they do get money
Oh
for
yeah,
training
yeah, yeah.
camp. And then if they get past that, then another guarantee, even if they're
Like
on the practice
it's
squad.
a,
But
Shedeur, if he was a quarterback in the first round, would have been making like 40 million, but he slipped to the 5th round, and now he's making 4 years, 4 million.
4 million. Hey,
Oh, that's tough.
it
Hopefully
is tough,
they
but
save the NIL money and they making money other
I,
ways.
I think it's pretty good with money. I mean,
Yeah, that was what it was. Like it's like less
it's
racism. It's less going up against like, oh, we don't like the blacks or something like that. We're not going to let them tell us how to run our company or our business, our team. And it's more like is like the spoiled rich kid. It's like
which
he's
he
always had everything. I
it's
don't really
yeah.
believe that though. Like he
No,
seems
no,
like
no.
a
I
good
know.
kid, but
Just the
everyone's like,
narratives that they put
F this
forth is
guy, his dad, their money, they're comfortable, their big houses.
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
not the
Like
same, man. You gotta like have
he
some
worked,
fire.
man. He put his work to it. He worked, man. So it's weird. It's
Nice.
just weird. Like the whole situation was weird. But I mean, both of our teams, we got our poly fixed. You guys got a great guy who's probably gonna take over for
He's gonna take over for Justin Herbert. He's gonna outplay him.
yeah,
Uh
he's
yeah.
gonna take over for for that guy, that bum that plays quarterback for you guys.
That bum inspirational
That
story.
the robot that plays for you guys.
Yeah. Not very emotional. It's
But and
very,
then we
very,
got
very
Trevor
set up.
Mott. Hopefully, both guys stick with the teams because it's always cool. I mean, we do have Isaiah Polamalu, but it's always good to cheer for
And
like.
more. Yeah. All right. That is our draft breakdown for the biggest stories, the Islander picks, and the Chargers and Raiders. I think we're gonna have to save the 100 guys versus a gorilla for next time. Before we
I'm
get to shout out, what's
yeah.
up?
The gorilla, by the way, is gonna win, guys.
I
Just
got
letting you know,
100, the 100 people. Even if they're like, okay, no, we'll talk about that later. See, you got me.
bro. The gorilla is strong as 100 men.
Yeah, but he's like not. He's got to fight like one or two people at a time. You know, that's when you do the Neo versus Agent Smith versus 500
He
Agent Smiths and just jump on them
he can grab your neck with his
and
two
snap
hands
it. Right.
and
Look,
still grab
20
you.
people at
He can
least
grab
are
two more
dying.
guys.
Look, the first 20 people are dying. We just need them to slow him up. Just like hang on his ankles, grab his leg, somebody grab an arm. It's like fighting Thanos. Come on, we can do this. It's
He can grab
100 people.
bro.
Bro, when's the last time you saw 100 people? Like at a bar? Like that's a lot of people.
Bro, I was ready to fight. You were ready to fight 100 people when we were working doors. So we're not gorillas, but I mean,
But it's possible. Yeah, so
anyway, next time,
what do you guys think is gonna win? Shout out to WWE. Jacob Fatu is the U.S. title. He's going up against freaking not Braun Strowman. He's got like a fatal four-way. Bro, LA Knight came out to ask for his rematch immediately, and then Drew McIntyre's music hits. And Drew McIntyre's like, I want to fight somebody who's real mean. I got to fight you, Jacob. That's the other thing, bro. And I want to mention that. Jacob Fatu's opponents, like, give him flowers during the promos. They more talk crap about Solo, Tamatonga, and stuff like that. They're like, I know you're going to be a champion someday, Jacob, but this title is not going home with you at WrestleMania. Wrong.
That means he's a super cool dude in the back. Like,
bro, that's it.
He must
And
be like the dude. Yeah.
One of his first promos that he cut was against Damian Priest. And I remember a line in it. It was like, I know who you are, Damian Priest. You've done a lot more than these suckers in the back, right? That's giving Damian Priest his flowers because this guy freaking won the freaking World Heavyweight Championship. But it's crazy to see how much respect he already gets in the first year. Yeah.
You know what it was? That food took a pan of falifu or part of falifu and a pan of BP one day over, and he's been great ever since.
Yeah. I mean, he's put in his work like independent circuits, but it's crazy to see how fast Jacob Fatu, Samoan Werewolf, is blowing up. He's going to be in the freaking main event stage pretty soon. Speaking of main event, Jey Uso is now fighting with Logan Paul. That's going to be the like backlash championship match.
Why?
Jimmy, yo, I don't know if I talked about this last week, but Jay was bombing his post WrestleMania championship press conference. Like he was talking over people, he was cutting people off. There was like a French reporter, and he was like, "Oh, French!" Like he started doing accents and stuff. I was like, "Oh no,
That's
no,
hella
Jay, chill,
funny.
chill." But he was lit. He looked a little lit, and it's like one of the questions he answered it. He stopped answering it, and he was like, I'm in
You're fighting
Vegas.
the
I'm in
party.
Vegas. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. I'm in Vegas. You know, I just won the title. I messaged Marcus because we were both watching WrestleMania, and I was like, this is not going well. Because the dude was like, they only gave him 3 questions. And then the freaking handler, the WWE person, was like, all right, that's Jey Uso. Everyone give him a hand. And Jay was like, what's going on? I can't stay for a couple more minutes. And he was like, you can stay. He said sorry. He's like, sorry, Jay, you can stay as long as you want. Okay. He's like, yeah, let's get some more questions. Why the room so quiet? Come on. You're the only one with your hand up. What's your question? I think Jay's brother, Jimmy, should be Jay's manager and new wise man. Like Jimmy is the one that like knows how to handle the mic, knows what to say, usually has better mic skills than Jay, and just kind of better MC skills. Like you can tell he was most likely to succeed or class clown or everyone's favorite, stuff like that. Yeah, the social one. And Jay gets like a little nervous sometimes and he'll botch his promos. I think Jimmy should be his freaking right hand man, make him the manager, bring him out like he's basically Paul Heyman for Jay. That would be dope. That also keeps Jay like in the main event scene every week, right? So, and then Roman Reigns got jumped. Oh man, Roman Reigns got speared by Braun Breaker. Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, we did.
And he's out. So that's what's going on. Oh, Solo Sikoa tried to take credit for Jacob Fatu's U.S. title. Did you see that?
I didn't see that part.
Well,
Hey, man. Hey, he might be right, though. He might be right.
Exactly. He might be right. The way he was running it, I love Solo on the mic.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
He's an antagonizer. Even in like the dark matches when he's playing it up for the people there, he does a great job. People like him. But in that promo, he was like, everybody in the family was saying, don't bring Jacob. But I did. And look at him now. I'm the reason Jacob is succeeding here. I'm the one that brought him. I'm the one that brought him here. So it's me that made you. And Jacob freaking snatched the mic away from him. Let's not get it twisted. Coast to coast, post to post, all gas, no brakes with it. I'm off the leash now. Yeah. Anyways, wrestling. Raw's on Netflix. SmackDown is on USA on Saturday, on Fridays.
Jacob Fatu's story is pretty cool, man. Just getting out of jail. He used to be another like just he wasn't doing anything, and his cousin hit him up and was like, "Bro, what are you doing now that you're on the jail?" He's like, "Nothing. Why don't you come get the wrestling or try?" You know what I mean? Just come try something different. And now he's a champion. You know what I mean? And might not be for long because it looks like WWE trying to take something away from another brown man.
Well, that's the other thing. Like that U.S. title was Braun Breaker's, and now Braun Breaker's like in the main event scene with Paul Heyman and Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have a title now. He's like a henchman, right? But he's a henchman on the main event level. Yeah. So there's something like that where Jacob Fatu relinquishes. He drops the U.S. title, but he's going for the Universal Championship soon, the freaking heavyweight championship.
Man, it's a lot of championships, man. Like I told you before, man. When I was younger, all we had was the championship belt, intercontinental, and the tag team belt. That's a lot of belts now.
Yeah, Triple Crown. And now it's 2 different shows. So they got and they're doing the women's division. There's like different levels of the belts, the women's title, the women's intercontinental title, the US title. They're on different
shows. They got like a whole farm system. They got like developmental league.
NXT championship. Yep. So I'm back wrestling. Any shout outs before we go? I needed to use the bathroom and then we started talking about wrestling and then I was like, oh, I can stay here for a while.
The things you can hold out for. Nah, man. I mean, we had the one I gave out to Hans Polytickin and him and his wife and JT Tuimudel. Just great to see, man. Especially when you like kind of like I'm not trying to insert myself into their story, but like just knowing that you know somebody that's a part of their story and the hard work that they went through. Ponce is a really great dude. Um, they're basically like family. My sister's married to their first cousin, so we've grown up together, went to marriage together. Get to see people that you know do well. You know.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, yeah, man. And then shout out to my nephew. Yeah, I almost forgot my nephew's name. Leonidas Malfusi. If you see my stories, he's fundraising. This is going to be his last season in youth football. He's been killing it lately. He's in a tournament right now in Reno. I don't know. It's regular probably in poly houses, but 13-year-old. He's about 6 foot, 6'1", weighs about 250 pounds. Plays both sides of the line. He's killing it, and he gets to play big boy football next year. So he's gonna this last season for him in youth football is gonna be his fun season. So he's just trying to help out his teammates with like fundraising and stuff like that. So if you ever see me post about it, you know what I mean, shout out to him, man. He's gonna try to enjoy this last season with his homies before he has to move up and start over again from the ground level, being a freshman somewhere. But he's gonna be an impact freshman, I can tell you that. So shout out to you, Leo, man. Love to see it, man. Love to see it.
Shout out to Sekoa Afua and Mika Afua, who had their birthdays the last week. Father and son. Yeah, shout out to those.
Yeah, man. They're cool people, man. Father and son. Father, man. If you ever want to laugh, especially if you're well before when I was in Portland, and I used to be out in the streets and he was working and I wasn't working, and I'd go to the club that he was at. Oh, it's a good time, man. Oh, it's a good time. He come out and talk like,
Mika.
oh man, Nico just he talk about being in Samoa, man.
Yep.
We would laugh all night long, and then he'd have to go inside, and I'd have to go home.
You have to go back to work. Yeah, I can't remember how many times I've been having a conversation with some random person or like one of the friends outside, and then be like, "Oh shit, I'm on the clock. My bad. I gotta get back in there and make sure these drunk people are not fighting." Yeah. Shout out to the birthday boys. Shout out to Levasa. Got the Via Dolorosa
Always.
neighborhood market down there in Modesto, California. I believe the May market is on May 10th, but definitely follow Levasa on Instagram, Le_Vasa, LE_VASA, to find out the latest on what they're going to do. They're going to have a neighborhood market with different food vendors, art, clothing vendors there at the Via Dolorosa Congregational Church in Modesto. In the yard there.
And you need it from him. You need one of those Levasa quarter zips. So hit him up before the festival so he can bring some down specifically for you.
Zip, hold,
You know what
zip.
I mean? Yeah, exactly. That way he can get them ready for you, and you can just when you get to the festival, he give you your money, he give you your quarter zip. You can wear it around the festival. You know what I mean? I'm saying, man. Think ahead.
Bring the kids. There's like a playground there. That's friggin' area. I don't know if be performing. The youth will be performing or anything, but at least just being around the community and congregation, that's going to be dope. The Via Dolorosa neighborhood market. Check out Le_Vasa on Instagram for more information. Now I do need to use the bathroom. But thank you everybody for tapping in. Appreciate you guys for staying with us. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay balling. Love and light. Peace.
To the bathroom.